Welcome to the bold analysis. While anti-tax crusaders are camping on top of Mount Kenya, Transport CS Kipchumba Murkomen sneaked to Homa Bay County with a very contradicting message to what his boss and his deputy, Ruto and Gade, are preaching on top of Mount Kenya. It is a case of saying what the audience want to hear. But in politics, things don't just happen. Everything is normally organized. And I want to believe that Kipchumba Murkomen's message here was very intentional.
So the next step sasa ni twende to the next one kusema kwa hii mambo tano Kenya Kwanza wako nayo na mambo sita yenye Azimio wako nayo, tutabalance namna gani? Tunaweka balance pamoja, tunachunga nini, alafu wanakubaliana. Kitu kingine tunakubaliana ni kwamba tusirudi mahali tunaweza kupigana na maandamano na ya kufanya. Tufanye tu hii mazungumzo na tusuluhishe. Na mimi mheshimiwa governor, sijui kwa nini Kimani Ichung'wah na mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka wanaandikiana barua. Hii mabarua mingi wanaandikiana nini? Si wapigiane simu na wakutane na waanze mkutano. Kwani hii ni mara ya kwanza watu kuongea? Kwa nini lazima waongee kwa mabarua? They just call themselves. Kama ni kukutana kwa restaurant ama county hall ama ni wapi, we don't want to know. Wapigiane simu, wakubaliane na wakutane. Alafu kufika huko waongee. Kwani kuna makosa kuongea? Na kila mtu afungue roho yake. Kuna haja kuambia mtu usiongee, usiseme hii. Kila mtu aseme, huyu anasema nataka hii, unaambia hii haiwezekani, mimi nataka hii. Alafu mnakubaliana, mnasema hii tano ulikuwa nayo na hii tano wewe uko nayo, tukubaliane na tatu, hiyo mbili ngojee siku nyingine. Alafu tupeleke inji iende wapi? Mbele. This is not the first time we are having a conversation. And leadership and governance and a country is a continuous conversation. The way we make this country one nation is having continuous conversation about the issues that crop up anytime. Because having that kind of conversation removes us from use of violence, but also misunderstanding. Sometimes it's also miscommunication. Maybe we are saying all of us the same thing, but because we are not sitting together and having a conversation together, we use the misunderstanding of medium of communication to cause havoc for nothing. Let Kalonzo and huyu mtu anaitwa Kimani Ichung'wah wache mabarua, wakutane kesho ama kesho kutwa, siku yenye wamuamua, wapigiane simu. Kama Ichung'wah ana namba ya Kalonzo nitampatia, kama Kalonzo ana ya Ichung'wah nitampatia, waende waongee. Na hakuna kitu ya kusema we Gladys, hakuna kitu ya kusema isipofanya hivi tutafanya vile. Hii maneno imeisha, tunaongea na kukubaliana.
Yes. That was Kipchumba speaking in Homa Bay, and he attended a fundraiser. It was a fundraiser that was attended even by the local leaders in the county. Of course, you'll realize that there have been an attempt to try to, of course, make sure that the political rhetoric do not amount to discrimination. But then, if you listen to that, and the contradicting position of Kenya Kwanza, you really fail to understand what exactly is going on. Because a day after that, there is one person who is the face of hate or the face of resistance of the talks, none other than Kimani Ichung'wah, speaking what, according to him, is what the Mount Kenya audience should hear.
Lakini rais umesema vizuri. Hao watu wamesema wataki handshake. Lakini ni uongo ndio wanataka. So wasikudanganye rais. Hiyo watu tunawajua. Mundu wanarumwa nenyoka jiruri. Ona kanyogwa ngekatea. Rais tungetaka kuomba kwa heshima kwa sababu umekubali Kimani Ichung'wah aongoze mazungumzo. Na sisi tunamwamini Kimani Ichung'wah. Kimani Ichung'wah akiwa hapo, we are represented.
Napatana hapo Bomas, tukae chini tuongee mambo ya mwananchi wa kawaida. na tumesema ajenda zile 5 rais ulituambia tuende tuongee, tutakuwa nazo kwa meza. Wakileta zingine tutawasikiza kwa heshima, lakini mambo ya cost of living, Mheshimiwa Rais, hiyo umewaambia na tunawaambia ndio kazi wananchi wa Kenya walikuajiri uwafanyie. Na hiyo kazi ndio umefanya ya kuteremsha mbolea ili unga ipatikane, unga ya bei ya chini. Gasi ya kupika umeshateremsha kwa Finance Act ile walikuwa napinga kotini. Kwa hivyo cost of living, hiyo ni kazi ya rais na serikali yenye imechaguliwa na inafanya. Kazi ya gharama ya maisha sio mambo ya kuongea, ni mambo ya kutenda.
Now, I wanted to just detect some controversy. Kenya Kwanza is saying they want the talks to be held, but they want people-centered talks. They don't want to talk about issues that only help some few individuals. And all of us agree, because I think even the Azimio side have had their position very clear that no one wants nusu mkate. You know, I've always been thinking, like, why would you insist that someone wants nusu mkate if the said person has already come out publicly to say that they don't want nusu mkate? And inclusivity in Azimio la Umoja's proposal has been understood by the Kimani Ichung'wah to be a handshake. I'm like, who wants that nusu mkate? And so, get the controversy. On the other side of the mouth, they're saying, let's not talk about the cost of living. But on the other side, you're saying, we don't want to talk about things that are people-centered. The cost of living is people-centered. So if you want to talk about things that are people-centered, then cost of living must be in the table as number 1. But they seem to be playing some political gimmick with what, according to me, is a very serious matter. It is not anyone's birthright to control, to be in leadership. Today you are in leadership, tomorrow you are not. And of course, what I have been seeing recently is the reason why Ruto went to Mount Kenya was to confirm to them, or rather to win. You know, he's very insecure with the mountain. That's the region he will not want to lose. To do some reassurance that the talks between government side and Azimio side are not going to amount to betrayal of Mount Kenya leaders. And let me tell you, that Mount Kenya tour was literally fixed by the Mount Kenya team, given what they termed as, the kingpin of the region, and they've been maimed into thinking, they've been whipped to think along that particular line. Sometimes when someone wants to manipulate you, he will first manipulate your feelings. When your feelings are manipulated, you tend to forget about logic, and then emotions are leading and you are following. That is the tragedy. That is the streak in politics. So what is behind these mixed signals? Because we seem to have a government that is not having a one position on this matter. There is one thing I've liked with the way Azimio has handled it. They've taken their position very clear. We are in for the talks. We'll support the talks. We want to give it 1 month. They've also said we want the cost of living to be number 1. And they've laid out, and they seem to be speaking one voice. Even if you listen to an MP speaking in a burial and a senator speaking in an interview panel, there seems to be one voice. But on the other government side, there are mixed signals. It's because there are different camps. In fact, the Rift Valley camp do not have a problem. That is what Kipchumba Murkomen. There is one signal that Murkomen is saying there, because when he's speaking there, he's speaking, number 1, as a Rift Valley leader, a leader from Rift Valley. He's viewed on that perspective. Number 2, he's also a very close confidant of William Ruto. So he's saying, simply trying to depict a picture that while the mountaineers around William Ruto are really marshalling our resistance against these talks, but as people from the Rift, we don't have the talks. We don't have a problem with the talks. That is number one message that he's also trying to depict. Number two, he's also showing that even at government level, not that what's happening in the mountain is unifying all of us. That is the truth. The truth is not all. And those are the two intentions behind the mixed signals. But this is what this is the bigger picture we have to see. And maybe the country will have to deal with this. Kimani Ichung'wah and Rigathi Gachagua are avoiding the ceasefire because they want to thrive in Raila Odinga's criticism or Raila Odinga's combativeness. They're avoiding any sort of ceasefire because even if you see the way Ichung'wah is speaking, he's speaking with some bit of some anger. Look at Ichung'wah and Rigathi. They both speak as if, someone, this talks has really gotten to someone's bedroom. There is bit of anger, and it is very strategic that when they're speaking to the community, when they're speaking to the publics there, while they're speaking there, they want to create anger. Wanataka people have feelings about it. Well, that is not it. That is not it. If you're speaking that way, and how will the parents whose children were hit by the bullet react? So everyone is, even if you're having objections, you can object to what Kalonzo Musyoka is saying. It's true, you can object. But must you object in anger? Must you unakasirika nini? Kwani this country belongs to you. This country doesn't belong to one person. It belongs to all of us. So even if you have objections, you can see that everyone wants their attentions to be high. Number two, Ruto realized, and the intelligence might have told him, that what you're doing in the mountain might be healthy for that audience there. But remember, even when you're talking there, you're also talking on behalf of the whole country. The media is listening to you. So he's lost the unifying factor in messaging. In fact, that's the biggest problem, that when you hang around the rigigees, and when they take you to the mountain, they tend to own the presidency and take it like it's their own. Then Ruto finds himself speaking as if he is a president of the region. And what the intelligence might have to, because intelligence tracks everything, is telling the president that, look here, jealously, the other parts of the country are not happy with what you're doing. And that is why, strategically, they are trying to send mixed signals. I listened to Sotse saying that the Ruto is speaking in the rally is not the Ruto who spoke during the meetings with Raila. The Ruto speaking in that rally is a different message from what he shares in the closed-door meetings. So he realized that his message in the mountain is not unifying. And that is why there is a need to get some neutralizer. Now, lastly, let me say this, and this is my punchline in this podcast. While Rigathi Gachagua and the juvenile politicians in Mount Kenya might be posturing as protecting William Ruto from what they see as a threat, they tend to perceive as if they're protecting William Ruto from Uhuru Kenyatta and William and Raila as a threat. But Ruto understands well that the perennial political aggression might have a very big impact on his 2027 presidential bid. He knows that the country is not happy about the taxes. It's true. The country is not well convinced about the taxes. I just read a report that I'm going to analyze in the next one about police. They're not happy about the report. So it is very clear that himself, he wants the temperatures to go down. And the reason why there is a messaging of let's agree that any other the protest, that protest is not going to be a tool. The protest is in the Constitution. Picketing is in the Constitution. It is in the Constitution. So it has been illegalized by killings. Ethnic profiling is a tool that was unapologetically used to shrink the right to picketing. So that is what Ruto is seeing very well. In the mountain, you have to shout and say all those kind of words. But when you come down, the political strategist, you'll have to understand that the more people are protesting, and it's rather better people protest than you thinking you have peace. You know, you can use the police to kill and maim, and then you think, now we've got peace. But do we have? An absence of war is not presence of peace. So ladies and gentlemen, that according to me is what is the mixed signals about. Now, some people have been asking me about Nyama na Mchele pledge. You know, I look at that before the end of the day. Now, are you moving from one place to the other? You need amazing company that can help you move well and help move your treasures safely. That is why contact smart top movers here. Top movers are professional, they're affordable, and they are listening. It's a listening company. Talk to them and in a position to move well. Their number is 07 19 17 43 93. 07 19 17 43 93. Top Mark Movers, quality is everything.